Good evening, believers. How are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha coming to you today for the Healing Hour Live. Now, if you've never been with me before, you're not quite sure what it is I do here, what we're all here for today. I am a love coach specifically for women who want to heal and reconcile after infidelity. You have been cheated on. You have. And I know that a lot of people will tell you that you just can't come back from that. There is a story that you are being told that is not your love story. It is a story about fear and pain and loss and never being able to get back to that happy place that you were at before with your person. And I'm here to tell you that that's just a story. And I believe you can tell a different story if you choose to. If you really want this person in your life, if you really believe that this person is your person and that you should have a happy ending with them, you can create one. If they're still here and you're still here, it's not too late. It's not too late to try it. It's not too late to go forward with it. So I want you to make up your mind with me today. As you're listening to me, I'm going to tell you the ways that you can start to change this story, start to make this story be the story that you really want it to be, and hopefully apply some of it and see how it works. See if maybe you can feel a little bit better. See if it takes a little bit of the load off of your back. All right. So, first things first, I'm always going to let you know that this is a trauma. All right. What we're trying to do when we're trying to get past infidelity is we're trying to heal from a trauma. We are trying to do something about the automatic things our body does to try and protect us in an emergency. That is what we're trying to overcome here. That's why it's so difficult. It feels like it's just this roller coaster of emotions, and your heart says you want to stay, but your brain is screaming at you that you are a lunatic if you decide to stay. And it's scary. It's a lot, right? It's because your body and your brain are kind of fighting against what your heart wants. Your body and your brain are automatically programmed to go ahead and go into a certain specific set of responses to something that's painful, all right? But your heart is saying something completely different. And so now we're at war. Now it is impossible to get any peace because your body and your brain are saying that I need to run. I need to hide. This is a threat. This person is going to hurt me. I don't want anything to do with them. And your heart is saying, but wait, they're my prince. They're the person, the one that I wanted to be with. It was magic. It was. But somehow that got lost in that. And I am here to tell you that you can get the magic back. I want you to understand that with this trauma comes a certain set of things that you can do something about because trauma is a physical response. That's what's happening when you are dealing with a trauma. Your body is physically doing something. That's why when you feel bad and you feel anxious, there's pain. There is parts of your body that feel funny, right? When you are having a hard time and your heart feels like it's about to pound out of your chest and your ribs are hurting and it feels like you can't get enough air in and your head is spinning and you got that whooshing sound in your ears and your vision is weird. All of that is a physical response that your body is supposed to do. Okay, all of it, the thoughts, the feelings in your body, all of it are a normal thing that your body is supposed to do under threat. But we can't keep treating our partner like the threat, right? If it's ever going to work out, if we're ever going to heal, if we're ever going to be okay together again, we got to stop treating them like the threat. So you have to become aware of the things that your body is doing in that time, and then you have to counteract them. You have to start acting against those automatic things that your body and your brain are trying to tell you to do. Okay. So the first things that I always tell you every time we get together are things that you can do to combat the trauma, to actually start to battle against the things that your body is automatically doing while you're trying to deal with this trauma. All right. So the first thing that your body is automatically trying to do is change your breathing, right? You may not notice it, but when you get madder, when you get more upset, your breathing changes. You breathe more fast and shallow, is what you do. All right. We're not taking full deep breaths. We're not exhaling excess carbon dioxide. We're not inhaling and getting all the oxygen into all our muscles. We're not doing that. We're breathing too quick for that because our bodies are doing something. When you are triggered, when you are upset, your body is actually doing a physical thing. It is trying to change your blood flow around in your body. That's what it's doing. That's why your breathing changes like that, because you got a shot of adrenaline and your body started to shift the blood flow from the core, like, it went around everywhere, but it was focused more on your core to focusing more on your large muscle groups, your arms and your legs, so that you can fight or you can run. That is what the fight or flight response is. So all of the things that you feel when that's happening, it feels awful. I know it does. But all of the things that you're feeling at that time are real physical symptoms of trauma that you can start to do something about. And the first thing you can do something about is the breathing. Because if you convince your brain through your breathing that you're actually fine, everything is okay, you are safe, you are in control of yourself, you are breathing slowly, steadily, exhaling that carbon dioxide when you need to, you can convince your brain that you're not actually in danger and those symptoms will start to go away. All right. And that's what we want, right? We feel awful. We want the awful to go away. We got to start with our bodies. All right. So what we do is 4-7-8 breathing. Now, I want you, I don't care what kind of breathing you do. You can do 5-5-5, you can do 7-7-7, you can do whichever alternate nostril, you can do all sorts of types of breathing. As long as you do them 5 times, 5 times a day. All right. I need you to do 5 times, 5 times a day. That's enough times to, number one, remind your brain frequently that you're fine so that it doesn't just freak out on you. You don't start screaming at him for just absolutely no reason because you're trying to heal this. You will keep yourself at a calmer baseline if you do this 5 times, 5 times a day. Okay. And the second thing is it will be like practice all the time. So then when you need it, you can fall into it without thinking too hard about it. Because when you start thinking all hard about it, your breathing gets weird. It's a weird thing. When you think about your breathing too much, it starts acting weird on you. But if you do it frequently when you're not having the panic attack, then your body is going to get used to doing it. And so it'll be more like muscle memory as you're doing it when you're really needing it. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. So it doesn't matter what kind you do, 5 times, 5 times a day. And we do 4-7-8 because it is time to blow out that carbon dioxide, inhale a good lungful of oxygen, hold it for a while so that your body can actually use it, and then exhale the carbon dioxide that's produced. Okay. Just to be able to do that, whatever breathing pattern you want to do, as long as you're doing that, you're good. All right. And let me just say this, worst come to worst. If you are just having a hard time and you can't remember any breathing, no pattern makes sense, you can't think of numbers. I get that because part of your brain is just not functioning well. It's not getting a lot of blood flow. If you can't remember what the breathing pattern is, blow out every time. If you can't remember how to do your deep breathing, just blow purse lips, making the whooshing sound until you can't blow anymore. All right. You'll take a big deep breath in and then try and blow again. You'll be fine. All right. You don't even have to remember numbers. If you are really in that much distress, just that blowing out will help you. Okay. All right. But we do 4-7-8. What we do is blow out, make that noise. Make a trigger to your brain that says, "Ooh, I'm making that noise. I must be in control of myself. Everything must be fine." We're going to blow out for until we empty out our lungs. We're going to inhale for a count of 4. We're going to hold that breath for a count of 7, so our body can use the oxygen. And then we're going to blow out for a count of 8. And then we're going to start all over again, okay? All right. So come on with me. If you're here with me, you've been doing your deep breathing this weekend. Give me some likes, give me some love. Let me know that you've been doing your deep breathing through this last week. Because, honey, it works. If you start doing it on a regular basis, it's really good. It makes you feel good and it makes your brain function better and under this immense trauma that it is dealing with. So it can't hurt. It does not hurt at all. All right. So we're going to do our deep breathing together. Come on in. First things first, we're going to blow out, deflate your lungs. Make noise. Inhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Blow out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful. How does it feel when you do your deep breathing? Go ahead and put it in the comments. How's your head feel when you do your deep breathing? It should be a marked difference because this is a physical thing that you are doing in response to a physical thing that's happening. So when you start to do the antidote to the physical thing that's happening, you should start to feel better. Even if it's, oh, I feel tired now. Even if it's, oh, I'm a little alert now. It doesn't matter what the change is. As long as there is a change, there is usually a very marked change between when you first start doing your deep breathing until the end of your deep breathing session. Okay. All right. Next thing that we're always going to talk about every time we get together. I need you all to be doing your journaling. Have you been doing your journaling? You're doing yourself a disservice if you're not doing your journaling. I need you to jump on that. I need you to commit to your journaling, okay? I need you to sit down with your journal twice a day, minimum, all right? You can go back to it when you need to. When there's something going on where you feel like you just got to write something down, feel free to go back anytime during the day. If you can just pour it out for about 5 minutes, that's great. But I want you to commit to first thing in the morning, about 5 minutes, and then in the evening before you go to bed, about 5 minutes. All right. Not a whole novel, not all that. Things that come to top of mind, the things that are frothing over, that are just out there at the top, a repetitive thought, a negative intrusive thought, how your body is feeling in the moment, if you had a great day, all of those types of things, just 5 minutes. Like set a timer. Don't go all crazy with it because you'll pour out so much when you're journaling. That number one, it'll be like a therapy session and it'll get real long. And number two, you'll get a little tired of writing because you write so much every time. If you have a minimum commitment of like 5 minutes, it tells your brain, okay, look, I'm going to try and get the things that are most important down here. So then you have a distilled idea about like what is really going on in my head, what is the most important, what is really standing out to me right this minute, because your brain tried to get it out quickly because this is the important stuff. So then you can deal with the most emergent things first. And then, okay, as you're writing a little bit throughout the day, okay, as things come up, you can deal with that. But you can deal with the things that are the most disturbing to you first and fastest. Does that make sense? I want you all to know why it's important for you to do this. When you're journaling, you're going to need to do your date, your time, your level of anxiety. Your date and time are going to be reference points. You're going to know 9:19 p.m. on Thursday. I feel a little some kind of way. Let me go check out Dash on her live because I feel like this every Thursday. All right. If you recognize that a date keeps coming up, a day of the week keeps coming up, a particular time keeps coming up, oh, hey, maybe that's a problem. All right. You'll be able to examine it a little bit easier. And if it is a trigger, you won't be shocked that it happens. You won't be hit in the back of the head by the trigger by it not knowing that it's coming. You'll be able to anticipate that it's coming and then check for things around that to make you feel like, oh, okay, this is what is happening in that moment that gets me to the place where I'm all triggered and I feel like writing in my journal. All right. So you need a date and a time, and you need a level of anxiety. Level of anxiety is 0 to 10. Okay. We are going to put a fence around these feelings. They can only get so big. 0 is no anxiety whatsoever. Everything is lovely. All is right with the world. Put a star on those days. Make sure that you know those days exist, because your brain will try and lie to you and say that those days they never existed. A good day, I don't know what you're talking about. Your brain will do that on trauma. All right. So if you write it down, you have proof that it happened and your brain can't lie to you. Okay. And then there is a 10. 10 is a loss of control. A 10 is I'm going to rip my hair out, tear my clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. All right. That is a 10. It is a loss of control. It is you throwing things. It is you screaming. It's things breaking. It's the police being called. Okay. It is you're there. All right. We are out of control of ourselves. The emotions have gotten to us to the point where we are just not in control anymore. All right. That's as big as it can get. It can't get any worse than that. That is when the most damage gets done. That's when people get the cops called on them. That's as bad as it can get. I know it feels like these feelings are like Godzilla, like they can eat the entire village. They cannot. Okay. They are just your feelings. I know it seems like they're not, but they are just your feelings, and they are only as big as you are. Okay, that's as big as they can possibly get. So it's not going to get big enough to eat you. Just remember, okay, 10, I can contain 10 within me, even if I'm losing it, even if I'm screaming, even if I'm throwing a remote control. I can still be me. I'm still not Godzilla big. I'm still just plain me. Okay. All right. So we're doing our journaling once in the morning, once in the evening, before we go to bed. Make it part of your routine. Make it part of your sleep routine. If you're having trouble sleeping, if you've been having issues since this, depression, anxiety is keeping you up or making you sleep too much, get on a sleep routine and add in your journaling to your sleep routine. Get all cozy, get your shower with your smell goods that'll help you relax, and get on the clothes, whatever, pajamas, silky, whatever it is that makes you feel like, oh, I'm ready to go to bed now. All right. Anything that feels good on your skin, go ahead and put that on. Drink yourself a little cup of chamomile tea while you journal for about 5 minutes. Sit there, do your deep breathing, get ready to go to sleep. You'll sleep like a baby. Okay. It's the same thing as when we're putting our babies to bed. If you got a bedtime routine, the baby knows it's time to go to bed. And so then they'll go to sleep. That's the same thing will happen with you. All right. All right. Third thing that I'm always going to tell you every time we get together is that I want you to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. All right. I appreciate that things are going badly right now. I understand that. I fully get you on that. But the thing is, things are not going to start to go well until you can start seeing things go well again. If you can't even imagine it, if you can't even picture it in your brain, how can your brain get there? Your brain, last it knew, everything was bad. Things were terrible. There was reason to be scared. There was reason to be angry. There was reason to cut this person off. So if we're trying to teach our brain something other than that, it helps to think more positive thoughts, lean into the things that our heart wants us to do. All right. So simpler way to go about that is just to go ahead and get grateful. Happy is out of reach right now. It's a little too far, it's too big of a jump, but you can get the grateful even from miserable. Okay, you can look around good enough, even if you are miserable, a pile on the floor, all right? Just boneless, all your marbles are scattered everywhere. From even that vantage point, I guarantee you that you can find something that you're grateful for, even if it's just the fact that you have a floor to be melted into. All right, you might be outside. You could have been outside, no home to have fallen apart in, but you do have a place to fall apart today. Just that, if you can just get there from that pile, you can start to pull yourself up. You can start to think better thoughts than what the trauma and the pain wants you to think. This trauma, I want you to think of it like a monster. I want you to think of it as something that's stalking you. It is trying to affect you, it's trying to change your destiny. All right. Your happy ending is out there, but this monster is the thing that's in the way. So we've got to deal with this trauma like the monster that it is. And if you fight against the trauma monster, which is all negative thoughts, with more positive thoughts, it shrinks, it gets smaller. That is the ammunition that you must use against it. So using gratitude helps you climb up to the next level of the things that you're really happy about, joyful, peaceful, all of that can be reached from gratitude. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to you. All right. So I want you to make a practice of every day trying to think of something to be grateful for. Think of one thing, think of three things. It's always better to do more, but think of things to be grateful for, and then look for things to be grateful for as you're going forward in your day. Assign your brain the task of looking for things to be grateful for, because as soon as your brain has a couple seconds by itself with nothing to do, it automatically goes back to cheating, right? It goes back to the pain. It goes back to how could he do this? It goes back to what did they do together? And do I know the whole story? It starts to flip out on you, right? So if you give your brain the assignment to look for things to be grateful for, your brain will do that. All right. The same way if you were like, I want to see yellow Volkswagen. All of a sudden, that's all you're gonna see driving along on the street. All right. It's a yellow Volkswagen here, there, and everywhere. But if you assign your brain a task, your brain will try to come through for that task. Right now, it is doing the task of being traumatized. Something bad happened. This was a terrible thing. It felt so bad. It felt like dying. But we're still here. And I'm going to just keep on protecting you, trying to keep this thing from ever happening to you ever again. But you stay stuck there. You stay stuck in the pain and the turmoil that happened from the grief of this terrible thing happening to you. If you can start to look for the good things again, you can start to reprogram your brain to do what you need it to do, which is heal, to get up off the floor, to start believing that things can be okay again, that you can get off this damn roller coaster and get your feet planted on the ground again. You really can. But you have to start telling your brain what to do to get there. Okay? That's how we handle trauma. And we've got to insist that our brain go along for the ride. All right. All right. So last thing that I'm always going to tell you every time we get together is I'm going to hold your hand while I'm saying this. Stop asking all those damn questions. Okay? Stop it. Stop. Stop. You have to stop. At some point, you got to give it up. Just like we have to move on from the negative thoughts by replacing them with positive thoughts, we have to remove that need to question that comes with the trauma response, and put in favor like more compassion, more understanding, and a lot of release, a lot of acceptance, a lot of okay, this has happened. I may not understand exactly why it happened and how it happened. That does not mean it will happen again. That is just my brain alarming, trying to scare me hold off on healing. Okay. So the questions, that's what they're doing. It is a distraction tactic. It keeps distracting you, saying, if you ask all of these questions and you get all of the answers to these questions, and they're all the right answers to these questions, it's not just getting an answer, but an answer that your brain accepts is the right answer, which it doesn't. All right. If you can get all of that, then we can think about healing. Then we'll be safe to heal because we'll know everything and we will never have to worry about this type of process ever again. All of that is a lie. All of that is a lie. You could find out exactly why this happened, and then it could happen for a completely different reason with the same person. You could leave this whole situation and the exact same situation happen with somebody else. It is not possible to anticipate every person on the planet's duplicity. All right. Your brain is trying to tell you that and trying to make you ask enough questions so that you will just recognize it right off the bat. It won't get there. You will not get there. That's not how this works. You don't have enough control over other people to make that work. You're just torturing yourself with question after question after question after question, keeping the pain as fresh as possible so that your brain doesn't have to let go of it, so that it doesn't have to move forward and start to heal. It'll just tell you, oh, well, no, this is a dangerous situation. So you just sit down and never be with anybody ever again. That's what you should do. All right. That's what your brain will tell you as you are asking these questions and you can't get satisfaction from the questions. That's the reason why you can't get satisfaction from the question, is they are designed not to help you heal, but to prolong you in the trauma. This person is a threat. Treat them like a threat. That's what you're doing every time you're doing the question. You're not asking questions for understanding. You're throwing accusations. That's usually what's happening with these questions that you're asking. All right. So I know that's all complex. But for those reasons and more, you got to stop asking all those damn questions. All right. You must stop doing it. It's not good for you. I need you to cut it out. Now, all of that being said, this is a trauma response, and it is a very difficult thing to do not to ask any questions. Because honestly, I recommend really challenging yourself not to ask any questions at all. I challenge you, even if you want to ask them, how was their day? Make it into a statement. Oh, baby, I hope you had a really good day today. Instead of, how was your day? Trying to get information out of him, because your brain will go to the left and it will automatically start asking him things about the cheating, even if you don't mean for it to. Okay. So try and challenge yourself with that this week. No questions whatsoever. Try that. But that, all of that being said, still, it is a trauma response, and it is annoying when your brain is like, question, 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 question. I gotta ask this question. I gotta have the answer to this question. All right. It's itching in your brain and you want to make it stop. So if your brain is itching, only if your brain is itching and you just like, you can't make it shut up, you've tried talking to it, talking sense into it, you have tried to ignore it, you have done your deep breathing, you have done your journaling, it's just the same question repeating over and over again in your head. Try this. This is better than what you want to ask. I guarantee it's the end, THEAND. Anybody can see. From the good people at the Skin Deep. And what these are, this is the healing edition. You can find this on Amazon. It's like $30. And it gives you excellent questions to ask that are designed to heal you, to reconnect you, to make you think a little bit, but not so much that it's like intimidating. All right. It just helps you to reconnect with the person that you love. So it's like 199 questions. If you just get stuck and your brain is itching, deal out 2 of these cards. You don't need like 3 it's a long conversation. If you sit down with 3 of these cards a piece, you're probably going to be talking for a minute. So I'm saying like 2. Do 2 of them. It gives you, it scratches that itch to ask a question, but it's not a question that is going to put you in danger of being triggered and flipping out. Okay. Chances are some of these questions, every now and again, you get a question and be like, oh, yeah, that could be about the cheating. but a lot of them are about reconnecting, about showing love to the other person, about what you learned from the other person. It helps you to get a little perspective. All right. So I'll give you a few of these. Instead of the questions that you want to ask, how do you know when I'm hurting? Wouldn't that be a good? Wouldn't you like to know that he actually knows when you're hurting? Wouldn't you like to know that? What if he says something that you don't expect? What if he says, "Oh yeah, I know you're hurting because you do X, Y, and Z." You're like, "Oh hell, I do X, Y, and Z, don't I?" You might be surprised how much he actually knows about you if you ask a good question. So this is a better question than what positions did y'all have sex in? Did you tell her that you loved her? Right? Isn't that a better question? Way better question. How do you know when I'm hurting? All right. Do you know when he's hurting? Do you know that? It's a good question. How has our relationship remained the same over time? That's an interesting question. Not how it's changed up. No. What's consistent about us? How has our relationship remained the same over time? I like that one. That's a good one. I don't think I've ever even heard that one. Because it's like 199 questions. I've been going over this for a couple years now, and I don't think I've actually gotten through all the questions, doing, a couple of them every week. All right, and then this one says, how would you title this chapter of our lives? I ask you that. Put it in the comments if you got one for me. How would you title this chapter of your life? Because that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about your story. We're talking about your happy ending. All right. Yeah. Remember when stories had names for chapters instead of just chapter numbers? It was like the name of the chapter to give you a little clue about what was going on in the chapter. I used to love that. But like this is your story. Like you get to tell it. You get to make it be whatever it's gonna become. So I don't want you to feel like you are in a position where you can't do anything. These things that I'm telling you right now are things that you need to know to be able to start this healing process and actually reconcile with your honey. Hey, Joni Moore, I see you over there on Instagram. Hey, girl. So I want you to start applying these things. I want you to start applying, doing your deep breathing, doing your journaling, doing your gratitude practice, and not asking all these questions of your honey, and really start to implement them, start to heal the damage that has been happening in your body, in your brain since this trauma happened to you. All right. We have to do something about it. We cannot just let the damage just sit. I know that old adage, time heals all wounds. Okay, I was a nurse for like 24 years. Dude, no, time doesn't heal a wound. Okay, proper care heals a wound. All right, cleaning it out, dressing it. All right, that type of thing is what heals a wound. I used to love wound care. All right, time ain't gonna do it. All right, we need to have the proper conditions. We need to make sure that it is cared for in the correct way for it to heal, for it to knit together properly. And this is a deep penetrating wound, okay? Wounds that are real deep, they have to heal from the inside out. They have to heal all the way from the base to the surface. We have to be working on knitting that stuff together in order for time to heal this wound, okay? So I know it is difficult. I know that people will tell you that it can't be done, but I know it can be done. And I outlined exactly how to do it in my dreams formula. If you do not have a copy, if you came into my Love After Cheating group and you gave me your email address, you definitely have a copy. Go check your spam. All right. But if you are watching me on Instagram, go to my bio. If you are here with YouTube, come on over to Instagram, hit my bio, and click on my guide, How to Heal and Reconcile After Infidelity. It goes over the dreams formula. It goes over exactly the 6 steps that I went through myself that I found worked every single time to be able to heal and reconcile with my honey. We are 17 years past the last D-Day, not the first, but the last. where I started to heal and we reconciled and we got to a better place. And he's a better and better husband every year. All right. We are constantly working, constantly improving ourselves, doing better and better and better every year since that happened. I know that your happy ending is out here because I'm living mine. I know for sure that you can get to it. I know the directions. Get the guide, How to Heal and Reconcile After Infidelity, and you can have the steps in your hand to be able to do this. All right. Want you to heal. I want you to heal after this terrible thing happened to you. I know it's unfair. I know that this sucks that this happened to you. I was stuck in. Well, this wasn't supposed to be part of my story. I was mad about that for a good little while. It took a little while for me to just like let that thought go, because you don't know what your story is gonna be. Your story is more miraculous than you can even imagine it is. So you and your limited imagination, you don't know what you're going to go through and what the glory is going to be behind it. You don't have any idea yet. I feel like I got to do this. This was a painful period in my life. However, I get to every day help women like you who are going through it too. So you're not by yourself. And I can tell you exactly how to do it. I can tell you, walk you through it step by step. I can show you exactly where the path is and get you out of the woods. I think that that's miraculous. I love that that's a part of my story now. I didn't want it to be. I didn't ask for it. I never imagined it. However, it is a part of my story. And now it's a good part of my story. It is. All right. So I want you to heal. I want you to feel better. Get my guide, How to Heal and Reconcile After Infidelity, walks you right through the dreams formula. The dreams formula is D, decide that you want to heal from this. R, recognize that that's a scary ass thing that you want to do. And then overcome that fear. E is evaluate why this happened. Chances are one of these three things happened. He was sick, sad, or stupid. He had some kind of illness affecting his mind or his body that made this seem like a good idea, when of course we know it isn't. Sad is some kind of grief or loss. When people are grieving, they do stupid things. And stupid is all of the things that we are told that are just crazy about being in relationships. How about that? All the terrible messages that we've seen, all the things that we have seen in our own personal lives and our own families that really messed us up with relationships, all of that is the stupid. All right. So, um, that, figuring out the why and then having compassion for that, figuring out that this bad of a decision had to have come from pain, and have a little compassion for that pain. A is allowing the healing to happen. You got to let the wall down. You got to get close again. You got to put your rings back on. You got to be in the same bed. You got to have sex again. You got to do the things that a relationship requires, the things that you would do if you were happy, if you were everything was wonderful and you were perfectly happy. Do those things. That's allowing that healing to happen, allowing that closeness to return. M is managing the future feelings, dealing with those triggers. The triggers got kind of imprinted on your brain almost instantly as soon as the trauma happened. You will discover them. They will pop up on you as you're going through your healing, but you just deal with one at a time. Don't run from it, confront it, have a plan for it when it's going to happen again. Don't try and avoid it. All right. And S is seeking support. I am here for you, babe. Find someone that will guide you through those steps without trying to make you feel bad about it. That is what I'm here to do. Now, people get mad at me all the time. Let me just say that I have been having one of those weeks with clients because people get mad at me on a regular basis. People who work with me on a regular get real upset with me, okay? Because it to them it sounds like I'm saying that I'm on their side. I'm on his side and I'm not on your side. All right. I'm not on either of your sides. All right. If you work with me, you need to know that about me. I am here to be your fairy godmother and guide you through the woods. I am not on your side in particular because you're a traumatized, scared animal right now. All right. You're not at your peak. you are not exactly who you really want to be right now. So I'm not on the side of that person, okay? And I'm not on the side of the person who was hurting and messed up so much that they decided to hurt you like this. I'm not on his side either. I'm on the side of you having a happy, healthy relationship together. That's what you want. The best in you, your heart says that that's what you want. You want to be happy together with this person. I am trusting your better angels. I am trusting the deepest part of your heart that is struggling to keep this love because it is that real to you, that is that important to you. You are not going to always be on the side of that love as we're healing, okay? If I am guiding you through it, you're going to be pissed off at me because I'm going to be like, hey, this is what the healing side would do. What you're doing is not what the healing side would do. And you're going to be mad at me because I'm going to point it out. And then I'm going to drag you over here to where the healing side is, and then it'll feel better. And then you'll be like, damn, I could have done that the whole time. But you're going to be mad at me in the meantime. All right. So just warning you, if you do work with me, you're probably going to be mad at me some of the time because I'm going to be challenging your trauma monster. I don't want you to keep on following behind what the trauma tells you to do because it's the wrong path. It leads you deeper into the woods. It leads you to places that you don't even want to go, that do not help you get back home to your castle with your king. It does not work that way. I will drag you back to the path. All right. All right. All that being said, let me see. I got questions. If you got questions for me, let me know. Put them in the comments. If you're here or if you're watching on replay, hashtag replay, throw it in the comments. I will answer your questions, okay? All right. So Kendra gave me a few interesting questions today. Uh, where to start with this? Okay. All right. Let me go back up. Well, go back to the beginning here. All right. So, all right. Where is the question? Where does it start? All right. So, what is happening right now is her mind is flipping out. So, her mind right now says he is a known problem with women and sex, and he'll always have something going on. And if I stay, I'm going to be consenting to sharing him forever. So, why keep on talking about it? All right. That is where we started off. And that is put in the comments if you know exactly what she's talking about, right? That, oh, I am giving him the green light to go ahead and cheat on me forever. He's got problems. Obviously, there's the only reason that he even did this in the first place is he's got issues. I know I love this person, but if I put myself up for this, then I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to always have to be looking over my shoulder. All right. And to that, I say a couple of things. First of all, you're not giving somebody the green light to hurt you again by forgiving them. You are being a good example. You are showing them that I love you. And not only do I love you, I believe in you. I believe that you're going to do the right things, that you've learned your lessons from this issue, and you're going to try and go forward and not hurt me like that again. Because I want to spend a life with you. That's what I was trying to do in the first place. I was trying to spend a whole life with you. So I have got to forgive you in order to spend a whole life with you. That is a requirement. You can't live an entire lifetime with somebody and never have to forgive them. That has never happened in the history of humans, okay? You're going to have to forgive them sometime. And this is a big one. Yes, it is. But if you're going to get past this, you're going to actually have to forgive them and you're going to have to believe the best of them. That's what trust is. Trust is not checking. Trust is not having them on GPS, having them on Life 360, being able to check their location at any given moment. That's not trust. That is checking. That is, I don't trust you. I have to look and make sure where you are by checking this GPS. All right. I have to track you as if you're a lost puppy. All right. That's not trust. Trust is defined as a belief in the goodness, the transparency, the positivity, everything of a person or something. All right. It is a belief in them. It comes from you. It doesn't come from checking. It comes from believing in your own decision. That's where it really, I think people get a little confused because it's not about them. Because people can mess up all the time. You could mess up. You can mess up just fine. But you have to have belief in your own ability to see this person is a good person for me. This person is going to expand the growth of my life. They're going to be a person that loves me. They're going to be a person that treats me well. You've got to believe that about the person that you have in front of you. All right. You've got to believe that you've made a good decision here. That is where the belief and the trust is going to come from. Is going to be belief and trust in yourself. And I know because this happened, you feel like you shouldn't trust yourself. I know that being cheated on makes you feel like, oh, I was just too stupid and I didn't know that this was going on and I was just dumb. And so I wouldn't be able to defend myself if this happened again. You've learned enough from this that you would be able to spot something wrong the next time. All right. The trauma does that. It teaches you, it soaks up lots of information. You know enough that you could see this coming again. But that is not the point. The point is, what do you want? Because you can say, oh, I'll only stay if you never cheat again. But what if he cheats again and you still want to stay? What if you say that, but you know you don't really mean that? All right. You've got to believe in what you want. If this is a relationship that you want, you've got to be prepared to go forward and say that whatever circumstances may come, I believe in my choice. I think I am making the right decision here and now for myself. All right. Does that make sense? I know that because that is where the security is going to come from, where you don't have to be sitting here worried that you're sharing him forever. Because you're like, well, no, I made a good decision on this person. I don't think that he's going to be like that. I believe that he is learning. I see good things from him. I believe that he's growing. I am trusting in my own vision of this person. I can see them pretty clearly now. I am trusting what I know, and I'm going to say that they're going to do better. All right. You got to believe in yourself. That's where it comes from. That is where you're going to find the strength to be able to say, you know what, if this happens again, I will deal with it then. But I'm not going to sit here and trouble myself and stress myself over a decision that I've already made. This is my person. I'm going to work this out with him. Things are going to go well, I think. If they don't go well, then I will handle not going well when not going well happens. All right. Don't get ahead of yourself. You're like anticipating something bad happening. You don't have to do all that. You will know that something is weird the next time something is weird. You will know. Give yourself that much credit. You have learned a lot from this situation. Okay. You don't have to keep worrying about, well, what if he cheats on me again? You're going to be able to tell within your spirit something's going to feel a little funny. You're going to know even better, more clearly than you did this time, exactly what's going on. So you don't have to even worry about that. You just trust yourself. You think that this is the right person. You love this person. You want to give your heart and your trust to this person. Believe you're right. I believe you're right. That's why I'm here to help you. I believe that you are correct. You are saying that this is your person. Believe that you are correct about that. And let all of your certainty, all of your positive thoughts come from being certain that you are doing exactly what you want to do for your life and you are at peace with that decision. All right. Does that make sense? Let me know. Let me see. Make sure I don't have any comments. All right. All right. The next part says, I hate the idea of that being reality, is what she said. And she said, maybe we can discuss that. Your reality right now was already created in the past. All right. What we're living right now is a result of actions that have already taken place and led us to this particular reality. Reality ain't what we going for. All right. I know it was a trend on TikTok for a minute, being delusional. All right. It's not being delusional if you are picturing your own future. People do that every day. That's not actually delusional. But you can't be in this reality. You can't pay this much attention to this part of reality if you want something different for the future. Because the reality that was created now was created by past actions that you didn't even have any awareness of. We have to take our awareness and put it forward to when I'm happy, to when I'm feeling good, to when I'm feeling secure and trusting, and we have that connection back between us. That is where you need to be focusing. I know everybody will tell you that you're supposed to focus on reality, and the reality is he cheated on you. Okay, yeah, all right, that's right now, but we are trying to create a future. So the actions we do right now create that future. Does that make sense? I know that's a little metaphysical. I get it. But that's what we're doing. We are acting now to create what we want to happen in the future. All right. We're aware now. We're awake. We weren't paying attention back then. We let some things slide that probably shouldn't have slid. And now we're in a bad place. This reality sucks. All right. We don't want to focus on this reality. We want to focus on our future. What do we want to have happen? All right. So don't worry so much about the reality now. That doesn't count. We're not worried about this reality right now. We have already created that. It's too late for us to change that. We've got to work on the reality in the future. What will happen to us? What our relationship will be like? What our hearts will feel like in the future? That's what we got to focus on now. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. How we navigate through the possibility of more infidelity, and that's what I was talking to you about before. And the possibility is there, but you are a very, very capable, very smart, very loving, and compassionate woman, and you can handle whatever comes. If this happens again and you choose to say, I did, I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't. He repeatedly cheated. Okay. He repeatedly cheated on me. I chose each and every time to say, because I knew that the story was not the ending right there. I knew that that wasn't the ending of our story. That's not how it was supposed to unfold. I was like, okay, I will get through a little bit more of this challenge. I will try and plow through the conflict of this book, but I'm trying to get to the happy ending. And I did. All right. I knew it wasn't over. I knew it wasn't the end. And I kept on going till I got my happy ending. So I know that that's possible. I will encourage you to do it. If you want to work with me, I will encourage you to do so. I will tell you to keep on pushing until you get to your happy ending. Oh, let's see. What if they have a possible addiction to sex? She asked me. Um, that can be overcome. That is one of those things. We got plenty of resources for that. All right. If they have a sex addiction, Sex Addicts Anonymous is a thing. All right. And they do excellent work. Go work the steps. That's all I can tell you. If you've got a possible addiction to sex, you can go to the website and okay, if it's like I think it's a list of things like okay, is your life being unmanageable because of see, I think I still remember what the address is. Nope, I don't. um, there's a quiz in the beginning of it, and it lets you know like, okay, if these things are going on with you, this is probably a problem for you. All right. There it is. SAA Recovery. SAA-recovery.org. Um, am I a sex addict? There you go. And it will put it up there and let them ask the question, powerlessness over addictive sexual behavior, resulting unmanageability of your life, feelings of shame, pain, of self-loathing, failed promises and attempts to stop acting out. preoccupation with sex leading to ritual. You keep doing the same things over and over again. Progressive worsening of negative consequences. It keeps getting worse and worse and worse for you. All right. There's a lot. There's a self-assessment right underneath all of that. You can go through. It is 12 questions. So you know, if that's what the idea is, if you were thinking that they might be a sex addict, saa-recovery.org has a test. You can ask yourself, if he asks himself the questions and he's like, oh, well, yeah, maybe, okay, I might be a sex addict. All right, maybe we'll know that. All right. And there was one more thing. What if you feel like your partner actually does have feelings for the AP, or he just can't leave her alone right now? Oh, that's a hard one right there. All right, because some situations happen. Sometimes she gets pregnant. Sometimes legal stuff ends up happening, and you just can't like completely cut them off. They have to be in your life for a little while longer. That's difficult, right? And then that really increases the idea that, oh, they have feelings for them. See, they're spending this time with them, even though they're required to. Oh, that's saying that they really do care about this person. I say now I will start from here. When people are using someone else to feel better, and that's usually what cheating is, right? Cheating usually comes from a bad place. Cheating usually comes from, I'm feeling bad about myself, so I'm going to look for something to make me feel better about myself. And for a lot of men, okay, men are taught money and sex. If you have a lot of money, you should feel good about yourself. If you have a lot of sex, a lot of women, you should feel good about yourselves. So they know those are the two default they go to. Okay, if I don't have any money, women are available. I can maybe get women. So you're not in a good mental place anyway if you decide to cheat. You are in a place where you are feeling very selfish. You are thinking just about yourself, just about your own feeling, just about having somebody else help you with your feelings, in spite of, the fact that you are manipulating theirs. You are not telling them the truth, or you might tell them the truth, but let them know, okay, well, I'm not really going to be with you. I'm just going to kind of use you for sex, and I'm going to hang out with you for a little while, and you're going to like validate me and make me feel good about myself. And then I'm probably just going to go ahead and go back to my wife. All right. If you are in such a bad space that you make that bad of a decision, that's not any care for this person. All right. You might care about them because they made you feel better, but you were always just using them. You always felt like they were less than you. So it's like any real feelings for the AP. That's why a lot of these relationships don't last. If they do leave and they go be with the AP, usually the AP realizes, oh, you don't give a shit about me. They finally, like, once they actually have this person in their house, in their face all the time, they usually realize that, and the whole relationship blows up. So if you're starting a relationship based on, I don't really care about you, I just care about my own feelings and feeling better about myself, that's not going to be a relationship that's a good relationship for either one of them. And it's not going to be a good relationship that lasts. So even if they are all over the AP and they're like, oh, yes, I love her so much, I want to be with her, it's never even about the other person. It's about how that person helps you to feel about yourself. It's long form masturbation. It's really intense how much people can justify doing to other people just to make themselves feel good. I don't feel like that. Every now and again it works. Every now and again they get with an AP and they just they love them and they together, and it's just a horrible story how their relationship started. But okay, they've been together for years. But chances are she ain't gonna ever trust him. She knows for sure she can't trust him. That's absolutely for certain she's not gonna trust him. Even if they do make it, like make it out years, she's still never going to trust him because that's how she got him. She knows his whole mindset is he could just leave the woman that he's with and go be with another woman. So, like, when we talk about them actually having feelings for the AP, Honestly, a lot of it, I think, is just feelings for themselves. I think a lot of it is just what makes me feel good, and just you happen to be a thing that made me feel good, so I'll feel good about you. But like real feelings, like I have a hard time. It's just I see so many of them, like they go off and run off with the AP, and then they're like, "Oh, this was awful. This is a terrible decision. This is not a good woman for me at all." Yeah, of course not. Two people with real bad self-esteem. That's what it came down to. It was two people who ran off together who had real bad self-esteem. He was having real bad problems, feeling bad about himself, and she was feeling so bad about herself that she was like, "Oh, but take somebody else's man, because then he'll be faithful to me and not to her." Like it's a whole bunch of bad decisions. It's a whole bunch of trauma. Like that, I dismiss a lot of those feelings. A lot of that is just I feel bad, so I just want to feel better, and you help me feel a little bit better, so I like you a little bit. Right? I downplay a lot of those feelings. Side chicks are side chicks. They were a tool. They were a toy to be used. They didn't go into it like trying to have fall in love and whatnot. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I know it's terrible. Terrible thing, but I really don't. They don't ever stay with him, and when they do stay with him, it's a bad relationship because he can't go nowhere or do nothing because she knows that he's a cheater, and even if they make it, even if they stay together years after that, like neither one of them are really happy because she can't trust him, and he's always trying to run around and do whatever the hell he wants. it's it's insanity. I don't believe too much that they have that those type of feelings for the AP. I really don't. Even when they act like they've fallen all in love, I think they are chasing the the dopamine. I think they're chasing the brain chemicals, the hormones that you have when you're infatuated with somebody. I think that that's what they're chasing. I think that they mistake that intense rush, because that feeling of those hormones hitting you, that falling in love feeling, that I can't think about anybody else, and oh, I just love them so much and they're always on my mind and I think about them day and night. That is the effect of hormones, and it wears off. It doesn't last forever. So that effect of those hormones, people mistake that for real love, and that's just infatuation. That is just your body trying to chemically get you attached to somebody long enough to have a baby. That's all that is. It's biochemical. It is not real commitment and love and understanding and trust and all. It's not that. So it's not the same thing, but people will chase that feeling because it's such a high. It is like chemically, it's like the same thing as being high on cocaine. It's the same thing. So people will chase that feeling and feel like, oh, I got to keep on being with this person because they make me feel so good. But it's just your hormones, and it wears off. You get less and less sensitive to it with the same person over time, and then you get to the point where it doesn't really do that anymore. Now, you can have the falling in love feeling with the person that you love, um, over and over again, but it doesn't last forever. It's like a few days that you feel like, oh, I'm just so in love with them. You get a little obsessed. And when you do the things that you did when you were first in love, when you were just deeply feeling them, when you were so in love with them, if you do the things that you did then willingly with an open heart, you put yourself back in that frame of mind, and those hormones kind of flood in. But it doesn't last forever. It's a few days, and we get it, every about 6 months or so, we just kind of fall in love with each other over again. Sometimes he's all in love with me, and I'm not feeling it at the moment, but I'm glad that he's feeling it. And sometimes I'm all over him and I feel it, and he doesn't feel it. Every now and again, it happens at the same time. It's like sparks, but it's just it happens to you periodically, and the more you focus on doing the things that are loving, allowing the healing, getting closer together, the more it happens. But it's not all the time, and you can't chase that feeling. You get a little high off that feeling, and then if you start chasing it, whoo boy, yeah, you're gonna mess up your life. All righty, let's see. I think that's about it. That's all the questions that I see. All right. I think that's about all. So we're going to get to the end here. And I want to remind you of one more thing that I want you to start doing right now to start healing this trauma. I want you to start doing some affirmations, okay? Every single day, look yourself in the eye, in the mirror, in the camera, wherever. Look yourself in the eye and repeat the affirmation like you mean it. Like you have never heard a more true statement in your entire life. Like this is reality and you are believing in it wholeheartedly. Okay. When you do that, I know you don't feel like it's real. I want you to pretend real good. All right. No matter what the affirmation is, I want you to pretend that you believe it with all your heart and say it like you mean it. Because then, as you're looking yourself in the eye, your brain is recording your face, your voice, saying this affirmation, saying this thing about you. If you keep going back to that during the day, replaying that tape over and over again, now it's not so hard to believe the affirmation. Now your brain is softened up to it a little bit and you've opened up a new pathway. The trauma made its own pathway. We got to open up new ones that lead different places if we're going to heal from this. All right. So today's affirmation is today I feel worthy. Today I will accept all the wonderful things in this life. I like that one. We got to feel worthy. You got to feel worthy of having everything that you want. You got to feel worthy of having the love and the life that you want going forward. If you're going to heal from this, that's what you have to believe. Today, I feel worthy. Today, I will accept all the wonderful things in this life. All right. So, I want you to do that. I want you to go forward feeling worthy tonight. Um, Make sure that you say your affirmation over and over again. Say it like you mean it. The more you do that, the more tape you have of you saying that, you can combat a lot of those negative thoughts that keep repeating over and over in your head. You'll have something to fight them with. All right. All right. So start from the top. Do your deep breathing. Do your journaling. Get your gratitude practice together. Do your stop asking all of those questions. Do your affirmations. And more than anything, don't do what the fear and the pain tell you to do. It's a trauma monster. It's lying to you. It wants you to do things that make you isolate, make you be away from your honey. In order to heal, we got to stop listening to the monster. So don't do what the fear and the pain are telling you to do. Do the exact opposite and get my dreams formula so that you can have a guide to get back on the healing path. All right. All righty, y'all. That's about it. That's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me for the Healing Hour Live. I'm so glad to have you all. I love you so much. And I'm so, so proud of you. You are compassionate, loving, sweet, forgiving, and loyal. Just incredible woman. And I want you to know that about yourself as you go forward with this healing. You are doing exactly what you should be doing, which is following your own heart. All right. All right, y'all. That's about it. I will talk to you next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Healing Hour Live. Bye, y'all. Bye, Instagram. And bye over here on Facebook and YouTube.